Yoshi, minasan, welcome to the next installment of Japanese 101. I hope you're ready because today we're going to learn some more particles. And namely, what I want to focus on at first is, so you know which one. Yeah, we've talked about that actually, Wasef. Cold. Sorry, I thought you were Wasef because you're both the same color, similar color. I think it's like slightly different, maybe. So today I want to start with talking about particles that are used with nouns, okay? So, let's do like used with nouns, okay? Nouns. And what I mean is like particles that go between nouns for now. And the ones that we're going to talk about are going to be the pair of no and to. No and to, okay? These two. And you've probably seen both of them. I'm pretty sure you've seen them. Everything was fine until I got to noda, nda. Yes. So noda and nda, by the way, is also a case of nominalization in a way. Just that it has an added bit of like emphasis to it. I like no a lot, to be honest. Yeah, so no and to have usages that go beyond what we were going to discuss today. Oh, shoot, sorry, I forgot that I need to actually turn this down. There, this is the usual level of the music. I forgot, but you know, not biggie. No biggie, this is okay. Yay, Mama Luigi, hey. So we're going to talk about no and to, not all of their usages, that would be too much. But we're going to talk about them being used like between nouns. So what is going to be a topic of today is going to be constructions that are like this. Noun to noun, and make a comma, noun, no, noun, okay? That's going to be the topic for today. And then if we have time, I don't know how long this will take me. If we have time, we might talk about ni and de used for locations, okay? But don't get too hyped up about that yet because I really don't know how long we're gonna take for it. And I want to just get this out of the way. This Sammy, tuition for today's lesson. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the bits. Yes. Now you are in the priority queue when you have a question. No, that's not true. You're still everyone's priority. Everyone has priority. So let's get started, okay? We're gonna talk about to first because it's not that bad. To used with nouns, pretty simple, okay? It's basically an and I'll explain what I mean with that. Oh, actually, let me just say we're gonna talk about one more particle as well that I've been sort of neglecting a little. I just thought of this, and I'm gonna add it as well. 英語禁止モード。英語禁止モードは後にします。Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about this. We're gonna do it later. I'll save it, okay? We'll do it after the stream, since I'm already like recording this. But we'll do it after, not after the stream, after the lesson. So we're gonna talk about mo as well. I've been neglecting mo, so we're gonna definitely talk about that as well. So mo, but first let's start with to. So what is to? To can be kind of described as a grouping particle. So let's say like for grouping, right? You group things together. And it's kind of like an and. Sometimes it's also a with. With, okay? It's like an and or a with, okay? We're going to see examples of how that will manifest. What to does is it takes two nouns, and I'm talking about the usage with nouns, okay? Nana-chan, yaharo. We're going to talk about usage with other stuff in the future, but for now, with nouns. So specifically what we're going to talk about is constructions like these. We have verb noun number 1, to, noun number 2, okay? I'm going to do subscript here. I get more, but I could probably get it better. Yeah, mo has some like hidden features. Noun 1, noun 2. So in simple terms, when you have this, it's usually nothing other than noun 1 and, I'm gonna make this red, and noun 2. That's usually how it works. Sometimes when you have just one noun, to, and then the sentence continues, okay, that usually implies something like with. Let me make this red. It implies something like with noun 1. or with noun, we do something. Okay, those are like the two main usages there. What's Wanikani level? Wanikani is a website that people use to learn kanji. Japanese 101. For being honest, I mean 10k with the glasses rough, so I couldn't read it. Good one. That's pretty funny. So you have noun 1 plus noun 2. So say for example, inu to neko, cats and dogs, or dogs and cats. Inu to neko. So dogs and cats, right? That's the first usage, would be like to. I thought N was similar to N1 or something. No, it's subscript. It's just a first noun and the second noun. That's what I mean. So that would be like one example, right? So let's write these down. Let's write down some examples. For example, we could have names. Right, there you go. Inu to neko. Nice. So we could have names as well. For example, Bobu, right? So this would be Bobu. I keep using Bobu. I don't know why, it's like a fun name. Bobu to Tomu. Bob and Tom, okay? Tomu. Mu ってのは this is me. This is nu. Mu. There. I had to think really hard. Bobu to Tomu wa. And then we can just use wa here as a topic marker. Something, something, something. Now, the interesting thing about the way to between two nouns like this works is that it binds them into a package. It takes them and it binds them together and they become one, kind of. So here, our topic isn't just Tom, okay? It is in fact Bob and Tom, okay? So this becomes like one package. And then the what goes for the whole thing, okay? So Bob and Tom are something like what? They are our topic. So if we use to like this, we package the nouns together. They become like, you know, so the noun is both. Well, you know, it depends. Hello, I'm learning Japanese from Uninoku episode Phoenix right now. Both of them are great, even though I passed and I still learn very much new. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate to hear that. Yeah, it's interesting how much there is still to learn after N1, isn't there? I appreciate your kind words. Reicheru to Tomu. Yeah. So the noun is both. Well, these are each nouns, right? Names are nouns. So this is a noun and this is a noun. We could say this is noun 1 and this is noun 2. Remember, names are nouns. In English as well, in most languages, names are considered nouns. So here, Bobu to Tomu wa means that Bob and Tom are something. And then we can simply say, like, kakkoi, right? Kakkoi just means cool. So we could just add something like, kakkoi. Kakkoi means cool. Bob and Tom are cool. Bobu to Tomu wa kakkoi. They're both cool. Right? Now, kakkoi describes both of these, not just one of them, but both. Okay, now another example of to being used more as a with, okay, like this usage up here, with, would be something like, and often you'll see this with to issoni. Issoni means together, together with someone. Wish I didn't misclick and that'd be cool like Tom and Bob, true. Issoni is for together. I can show you that in the dictionary as well. Issho. Together. At the same time, identical together. Issoni, together with. This is often used with to show you how I'll write down a sentence. So, for example, and let's stick with names because they lend themselves easily to that. We can just use names of people. We can say something like something like Tanaka, right? I'm just gonna well, Tanaka is easy to write. If you ever wonder, like, the name Tanaka is usually spelled like this. Ta is field and Naka is just Naka. So Tanaka. Tanaka-san. Tanaka-san. Was yeah. Tanaka-san to something. Now it would be like with Tanaka-san. Colt! You're so cool. That's unbelievable. You're so cool that I'm gonna have to actually remind everyone right now. Guys, did you remember the first time Colt subscribed? Because it was like, how many months ago? 8 months ago? That's pretty damn cool. Be more like Colt. A sentence about something good about me. I'm missing Zemi. Yeah. 超かっこいい. Right, yeah, it's very cool. So, Tanaka-san to, together with Tanaka-san, we could say something like kaeru, right? Kaeru means to go home. So let's write that down. Tanaka-san to kaeru. Kaeru, right? Kaeru. Which just means to go home. Call is a beast and quite a possible cooler me. Maybe. It's hard to say. It's so hard to compare, you know? Tanaka-san to kaeru. Which can simply just mean go home with Tanaka-san. As you can see, this usage of to with. そんなことないですよ. It's usage of to as being with, right? So here we use a noun plus to express that something happens with that noun. Like with Tanaka-san, we're going home. And then often here, after the noun plus to, you'll have 一緒に. To 一緒に. That's just, then it emphasizes it even more, or it makes it more clear that it's really Tanaka. Tanaka the frog. Is Tanaka the frog? His coolness is 9,000. An example sentence if you want to. Yeah, I'll use your name. と一緒. と一緒に. And then we can have kaeru here, right? Tanaka-san to 一緒に帰る. To go home together with Tanaka-san. Okay, think of the 一緒 as the together in the sentence together with. And then to helps us to understand with whom. Okay, so that's how you use to. Now, we can make longer lists as well. When we want to have ands, we are not limited to just 2. Okay, we can have as many as we want. We can in fact have whatever we want, right? So if we want to really use cold as an example, we could be like koru to semi. Wait. I'm messing up my se. That's sa would be like the other way around. Isn't that wait, I'm drawing a blank. Right, it's not like there's the one less stroke, right? That's what it is. I was like, wait, what does katakana say again? It's like almost the same, but it's not. There, semi. Semi. Oops. Yeah, semi, there you go. Wait, it's actually this way, right? Yeah. Semi. So, koruto to semi to. How was your dinner? It was good. I made myself some tuna on toast. It's much easier to write if you let your computer do it. That's true. Koruto to semi to. And we can keep going, right? For example, we could use zeng as well. So, zengu, which is ze again. Or se again. So we could have zengu. Gu. Zengu. And we can keep going if we want to. To. And everything gets wrapped up into... I'm just gonna make a thing here. Everything gets wrapped up into one concept. You made to na. Tuna. Yes, I did. It was good. It's much easier to write. Yeah, I already read that. So we can keep going, and this is the same. It just means this and this and this and this and this and this and this. It's just one list, one big list of ands, basically. Ands! What is this? A sentence for ands? Get it? Anyways. And then you can add a particle at the end. For example, wa. So, koruto to semi to zengu wa minna kakkoi hito. They're all cool people. Is to a list similar of words and ya for different words, like two animals use to and to? No, that's not how ya and to work. So to is for exhaustive lists and ya is for non-exhaustive lists. Aru is different. Yes, there's multiple different versions of aru. There's, well, mainly those 3 that you mentioned right there. The difference there would be that to makes completed or exhaustive lists. Completed lists. Okay, and ya would make incompleted lists. Incompleted lists. Right? That would be the main difference. We're gonna talk about ya another time when we talk more about making lists, I think. So that's how to is used with nouns. And again, you can keep going as long as you want to. To means we're the only cool people in chat. Yes, basically. That's kind of what it means. It doesn't usually exclude everything else, but it just means that there is nothing else there for you to worry about, to focus on. All right, that's to, ya, and so on. Yeah, ya is for lists that go on. Like when you want to say, like, what did you buy at the store? Oh, you know, toilet paper and bread and some other stuff. Then you could use ya to list them. Because the ya would then imply that, oh, there might be more, etc. All right, that's to. It's fairly simple. It's just grouping things. Let's take a look at の説明と解釈の違いについて違い教えてもらえませんか？そうね。So 説明 means explanation, but 解釈 means interpretation, like the explanation that you have in your head, like how you actually understand something is. The required coolness level yet. That's okay. You'll get there one day. 説明 means an explanation that maybe someone else gives you, and 解釈 is an explanation that like how you actually understand or interpret something. Mizumi-daki, thank you for the follow. ありがとうございます。So let's talk about no, which is probably a little bit more interesting. No. 説明 is accurate. What do you mean accurate? Accurate where? No. I've reached the required level of coolness. Damn, Pinch. Have you? No is basically... Wow, Pinch. That is incredibly cool. Thank you very much for showing everyone how cool you are. And thank you for your bits. We've reached like more than 10 now, I think. That's very cool indeed. Some of the most cool people here today. God, cool, yeah. So many people here that are using their points today. Unbelievable. But none as cool as those that did. So I appreciate it. Thank you. No. No, I call no like the... It's like a descriptive particle, basically, when it's used between nouns, okay? Again, I'm focusing on the noun usage. So it's like a description. Pinch, thank you for the bit. The bit of the day. Description. Descriptive particle, kind of. Descriptive. Or sometimes possessive. Descriptive. Descriptive. One bit, very cool. Very cool. It's descriptive or sometimes also possessive, but not always. It depends, okay? So the way you can understand no is that if you do this, everyone gives a bit and can change the word they. Maybe we can change the world. True. All right. Wasif, the grammar guy or whatever. Attributive works well. Yeah, attributive is good. True. Yeah. Attributive. Now, we'll explain what we mean with that. When you have a construction that looks like this, again, I'm using subscript. This is not like JLPT N1, okay? N1 just means noun number 1. No. Noun 2. What we mean is that usually, okay, the way to understand lists of nouns with no, and by the way, these can go on as well, okay? You can have, you can go on here, say, no, and then noun 3, and then blah, 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 all the way to the last noun. So you would have no, noun n, the last noun, okay? These can be as long as you want them to be. But the important part is that usually the noun that we're actually focusing on is the very last one. The last noun is usually the main noun, the one that we're actually talking about, okay? Which can be a little bit confusing for many people. They think they have to like start here and go down, but really it's more of a, it kind of goes backwards in a way. So the noun in focus is usually the last one in the chain. Bunpo Kishi, under the banner of Ibu Taicho. Yes, we can arrange for that. There you go. No. So the way this works is that basically no allows us to take nouns and to describe other nouns with those nouns. A little bit, you could say that no turns nouns into adjectives. I like to think of it in that way sometimes, that no kind of turns nouns into adjectives. And we'll see this much better once I make some examples. But basically what it does is we have a noun 2, and that noun 2 is sort of type noun 1. So it kind of means that whatever this noun is, this noun here describes it. This noun here tells us an attribute that it has, right? A property. Yeah, ao no sora. You could say that, ao no sora. Though most people say aoi sora. But yeah, ao no sora. Which means sora is clearly our... And that's also why, by the way, there is... Sometimes when you open your dictionary, and let's see, for example, the word futsu, okay? Futsu will often be listed as a no adjective. Which just means that it's kind of an adjective, but it is used with no in front of a noun, right? And that's kind of like... In general, using noun, no noun, kind of makes the first one an adjective. Kinoko-san, konbanwa. Konbannichiwa. Open your books, page 90. Exactly. So that's where you get no adjectives as well. They're kind of like nouns, actually. No adjectives are basically nouns used with no. So noun, no, noun. Let's make some examples that will make this a little bit more clear. I'll make some space. So let's look at a very simple example. Often simple ones are something with watashi no, okay? So watashi no usually gets translated as a possessive, which means mine. But I think that's not an ideal way of thinking about it. Let's take a look. Watashi no kazoku. Yeah, we can actually just do watashi no ie, I think. Might even be better. Because it's not as much for me to write. Wait, that's wrong. These go here. Watashi no... Watashi no ie. I'm just gonna write my house, okay? In the middle of my street. Watashi no ie. That's a horrible ie. Let me try that again. It's maybe a little better. Watashi no ie. So this means house, okay? And I'm just gonna... ie. This means house. Ie. It's fine. Yes. House. So the way we translate this is actually my house. My house. But let's think about what I said before. What did I say before? I said that, well, when you have a noun plus noun, it's sort of that the main noun is this one here, which it is. Watashi no ie. When we say watashi no ie, we're clearly talking about the house. We're not talking about watashi. We're talking about the house. The house is the main important part. House of mine. Yeah. So by the way, no, a good way of thinking of no is kind of thinking of it as of. I feel like of kind of works out pretty often to convey like the meaning. So watashi no ie. So we're talking about the ie. Clam, hey. But it's not any ie, it's a ie of type watashi. And I don't know, when I think about this, I often think about when you do programming, you do like type checks. It's like, if object is of type whatever, then do something. That's usually what comes to mind when I think about it. But it's basically explains us, what is this type of house that we have here? Well, it's one that is described that has the attribute of being being I. House of I basically becomes my house. So practice the conscious jargon. Now I'm lazy for that. Yeah. Japanese is basically coding. Basically. Japanese is a programming language. Haven't you heard? So, watashi no ie is a house, which is mine, which is I, right? A house of I. So basically my house. Let's look at a different example. One of my favorite ones is actually comparing kuruma no kaisha with kaisha no kuruma, okay? And that also illustrates why no isn't really possessive, not in my opinion. I think thinking of no as a possessive is fine sometimes, but it's definitely not generally applicable. So let's look at it. So let's look at kaisha no kuruma, okay? Which you would write like this. And I think the sha in kaisha does it use shimesu hen? No, I'm not sure anymore. It's like shimesu hen and tomeru. Kaisha. Oh, it's tsuchi. So I was close. Kaisha. Kaisha no... I will make that red. Kaisha no kuruma. And kuruma, luckily, I know how to write, because it's not that hard. Kaisha no kuruma. So here, kaisha. I'll write down the reading. Kaisha and kuruma. Which means... This means company, like a place where you work at. There's a programming language that needs to be read in Japanese, maybe. Kaisha no kuruma, which is a company, and this is a car. So what does kaisha no kuruma mean? Well, it means a car, right? Because that's our main verb, is the last one, is kuruma, which is of type kaisha, which is it belongs to the company. So this we would translate as the company car. Or the company's car. The company's car. Which is like a car that belongs to a company. So like you work somewhere. I like the type of thing. Yeah, it's nice, right? Because basically it's this relation where this is just an attribute, so to speak. And if we had stuff in front, these would just be attributes as well, right? They go in a chain, right? So if we had here, if we had like stocks, right? Like kabu, I don't know, kabushiki gaisha, I guess, but yeah. We had like stocks, and we had stocks no kaisha, it would be like a stock company, a car of a company of stocks, right? And you can keep going. It keeps going. Sometimes you have very long chains. You will never break the chain. So kaisha no kuruma, which is a car of the company. Okay. Now let's flip it on its head. Let's see what it means when we flip it around. But isn't a company that belongs to a car. Yeah, that's why I think thinking of it as a possessive is wrong. Because it's not about possession, it's about describing it. Kitten in German. Yeah, a little bit. It turns out that Japanese can also link nouns without any particles together. Think of hanabi taikai. Those are hanabi plus taikai just fused together. So when words become very common, sometimes they just fuse together and become bigger words. Very similar to German, actually. 私の会社の車の鍵の保管場所の掃除の業務 Right, there you go. Hanabi taikai. Yeah, a fireworks festival. So let's flip this on its head. What does it become when we do 車の会社, right? Well, let's think about it, right? Oops, that's one too many strokes. 車の会社. Well, now it says 車の会社. So now we're talking about a company, right? Because the company isn't at last. What's that? That's Swiss. Wait, no. Isn't that? I don't even know. No iro. I think similar kanji are like used in Swiss, but yeah. I don't know that color. What kind of color is that? Ruriro. Interesting. Lapis. Wait, why was I thinking of? No, Swiss is different, right? Yeah, it's different. Never mind. Maybe that's just what comes to mind, I guess, for me, because Switzerland. So now, damn, what is lapis? It's the thing from Minecraft. I got a question. It's a little tricky. Let's say hitsuyo and yo when you use. Let's talk about this later. Just so we can finish this topic here. So now we have kuruma no kaisha. So let's think about it. This is our main noun, a company. We're talking about a company. And now we can just like, well, what is an attribute of the company? The attribute of the company is that it is of car. It's a company of car or of cars. So what does it become? It gets interpreted as a car company. Car company. Like a company that makes cars. Company. A car company. Right. 車の会社の車. Right, 車の会社の車. That would then mean the car of a car company. And again, note how the order changes, right? The order, when we translate changes, going from, like, in Shirubu's sentence, 車の会社の車, it goes to a car of a company of cars. We basically go backwards. Suddenly used for listing. Yes. What about car and boat company? 車とボートの会社. You can actually combine the nouns because remember, and this is again where it's, I don't know, but like something about Japanese is really a lot like programming. Because remember, we need things here need to be nouns. But we learned earlier that noun itself is kind of like a noun, so it can fill in at a spot where there would usually be a noun. So this unison of two nouns with to can fill in, for example, here, or it can fill in like over here. It could, at least, right? So as long as we guarantee certain word types to be correct, things can usually work out. 車とボートの会社 Yeah. So then it depends on sometimes things get split up. 車の会社の車の会社の車の会社会社 that I'm not even sure if that makes sense anymore because now 車の会社の車の会社 it's kind of going in loops, right? Even at that point, I would think like 車の会社の車の会社 would go back to the 会社 that it was originally from, right? Like it would be like the company of the car of the company of the car. Like, I don't know. So yeah, git clone. Car company, right? 車の会社. Whereas 会社の車 is the car of company. This is the company of cars. So it's a car company. Another interesting way of using this sort of descriptive no, sometimes people will call it like descriptive no, where it like describes something. Yeah, maybe. That was the secret all along. Is with introductions and titles. For example, we can introduce our teacher using this. Sensei. Sensei no Tanaka-san desu. So let's do Tanaka-san. This. What is this? Where could the sentence be used? Well, the sentence can be used when you want to introduce Tanaka-san, right? Because he's our main noun here. Tanaka's the main noun. It's the one that comes last in the chain of no. Nihongo no sensei. Yeah, that's another expression. Another way of using that. We're talking about Tanaka-san. So this is Tanaka-san. Tanaka-san this, right? But who is Tanaka-san? Well, Tanaka has the attribute of being sensei, which usually means my teacher. So if you introduce your teacher who's called Tanaka, you can say like, sensei no Tanaka desu. So this is my teacher, Tanaka-san, right? Sensei no Tanaka-san desu. Something like that. Sometimes people will introduce their significant others like, 彼女の Mari-san desu. Or you can say, like, my girlfriend Mary. Or, まだ朝なの? Or you can say, sometimes people will be like, 妻の, I don't know, like, Erika. 妻の Erika desu. This is Erika, my wife, right? That's another use of how you can use this descriptive no, basically. And then Shirubu said, 日本語の先生, which means a sensei of Japanese, basically. A Japanese teacher. Does that make sense? Like, no is... Do you have any questions about no? That's basically how you would use no between nouns. Hey bro is an early bro. Yeah. Hey-san wa hayaoki da na. Nihongo no sensei. Yeah, and then it would be like, what Pinch used there is like a kanji for no. But it's not used that much. It's kind of rare. Alright. You actually see it on gravestones. That's about it. Even when you look up the no kanji, it will say here. Usually, especially on tombs. On tombs. There, it's like common on gravestones. Yeah. Archaic. Grave grammar. Yeah, I know, right? From the grave. Sensei Tanaka. That would be wrong. So, remember, sensei is a honorific postfix. Most oftenly. You cannot say sensei first and then the name. Because then things get really... That's not correct. You have to say either Tanaka sensei or sensei no Tanaka-san or Tanaka desu. But you cannot say sensei Tanaka. That doesn't work. You have to have the no then. Yononaka. Yeah, yononaka, which means the earth, the world, all the world. But does that make sense for now? I think that's pretty good, right? 10時40分. 10:40. That's not too early. You guys are exaggerating. All right. What do you think? Should we actually do ni and de? Because I think people have been wondering about that as well. Is used in more than 500 modern names. Yeah, it's very common in names. Or pretty common in names. All right, let's talk about ni de to mark location, okay? So I'm going to make a thing here. Location with ni de. Location with ni de. So what does it? I think some people sometimes get confused with these two, but it's really quite easy. Ni marks any location of existence, okay? Existence. And de, and again, when I say these have other usages as well, okay? Ni has a lot of other usages, but for today, we're gonna talk about this specific usage, all right? And de marks a location of an action. Location of action. That's the gist of it. So ni and 試験に合格. Yeah, there it's more like, yeah, there is more like ni pointing to the exam. That's why ni is like kind of annoying. It has so many different usages. De plus verb. Yeah, so usually you will have de with a verb, except if that verb is iru or aru, right? Because then it's an existence verb, so we use ni. Right? So this is basically whenever you have aru or iru, you would use ni. To give you an example, it is the ibu. Yes, azu. It is the azu. It worked, azu. I don't know if you saw on the Discord server, but it worked. I took an arrow to the to de ni exactly. Ki ni koen, tree in the park. You would have to say koen ni in the park. Remember, guys. Remember, particles are suffixes. They're postfixes. They describe the words that come before them. So if you use ki ni, you're saying that something is at the tree, maybe, right? Right? So ki, the ni, it is all about what's in front of the particle, not what comes after. So keep in mind that you always think about how the particle actually affects what's in front of it. I'll make some examples so that you can see. So let's make some examples for the location of existence. Now, again, remember that existence is usually marked with the two verbs aru and iru, okay? Aru for inanimate objects and iru for animate objects, which just means to be or to exist. Aru, iru, all right? So when these are used, they're like markers. They're like marking signs that we're like, we should use ni if we want to give a location. If we want to give the location where this thing or person exists or where it is, we should use ni, okay? So let me make some space again. Very simple. Let's use your example, gamer. If you want to say there is a tree in the park, how would we say that? Well, if it's in the park, then the location is park, right? Location is park. So what we have to mark with ni is the park. So we say koen. I wonder if I can get the N right, isn't it? It's like tsuchi. And then it has this below. And then, oh gosh, what was the lower part of tsuchi? It was like this, right? Koen, yeah. Something like that. Koen ni. This means park, right? Like a public park. Koen ni. In the park. Koen ni ki ga aru. Exactly. Good job, Atha. Koen ni. In the park. At the park. Ki ga. Ki ga aru. There's a tree. Ki ga aru. There is a tree in the park or at the park. Right? Because we have aru meaning an existence of a tree. That's why we use ni. Koen ni ki ga aru. You can also say, you don't have to say like ga aru, you can have other constructions as well. Let's think about, what do I say like I'm in Japan? I can just say Nihon ni. Because Nihon means Japan, right? Nihon ni. And then what we use, well, just imasu, right? I am. To be is iru. For yourself. Excuse me. Azu doesn't like to be right, so Azu was right. True. Nihon ni. Sabu. Azu, thanks. Bless you. Arigatou gozaimasu. 5 months. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Arigatou gozaimasu. Koen ni imasu. Sorry, Nihon ni imasu. I'm in Japan. Nihon ni imasu. I'm in Japan. So if you pick up the phone and someone is like, where are you? You can say like, Nihon ni imasu. Even though if you're not in Japan, because they're probably not going to understand you anyways. 理解するけどよくわからない. Yeah, it takes some practice with the ni, like 合格, ni 合格, ni 失敗. I mean, once you get into... There is a folk tale where it's like about the zodiacs, and it has the sentence, すべての動物に、星の座を. And then it's like, wait, but there's no verb. And then you have to think about, what could it mean? Ayafumi-san, konnichiwa. And then what could it mean? It's like, oh, it could mean that there's like, ni ageru. But the ageru isn't mentioned, and it gets confusing. But yeah. Or like, 幸せになれるように. End of sentence. And you're like, wait, why is the sentence over after ni? It's like, but there's more, it's just implied. 試験に合格 sounds natural, maybe, I think. Yeah, 試験に、不合格 まあね. If you want, let me know if you want. Ooh, look at that. An opportunity of a lifetime. 日本にいます. Okay, I think that should be pretty clear, right? You just mark the location with ni when it's in existence. Another one that comes up often is sumu, okay? Sumu means to live, to inhabit a certain place. That one also uses ni. Thank you for the follow, Pepete's Tadpoles? I'm reading that right, thank you. So this is one of those things where context is presumed, right? Since you're talking, you don't need the watashi. Yeah, so if I'm talking the one I say, Nihon ni imasu, then it's assumed that I mean myself. If I don't specify, the other person has no way of knowing that I would mean someone else. So I just assume it's you. Yeah, that's basically how it works. So another one is sumu. So you can also say, I can say something like, let's say Tokyo, right? 初見です。こんばんは。こんばんは。直子さん。よろしくお願いします。You can say Tokyo, right? So 東。東京に住んでいます right? 住んでいます is just a progressive, like means I live in, right? 東京に and then 住む would theoretically have this kanji. Wait, no, sorry. I was thinking of yasumu for a second there. Right, so like 住んでいます basically. I live in Tokyo. Now, don't worry too much about the de mas for now. We're gonna actually talk about progressive maybe like next week, actually. I should bring it up pretty soon because we've sort of been leading up to it. Tokyo ni sundeimasu. I live in Tokyo. So again, ni, because sumu is a term that describes existence rather than an action. Like living somewhere isn't really an action, it's just where you exist, where you live. It's like one of those. There's some verbs which will still count as existence verbs, even though they're not iru or aru, right? That's just one example of them. And sumu is more like one of the more common ones. Now let's actually look at de, okay? So de marks location of action. De. Location of action. A location of an action. Where does it take place? We can have some examples. For example, well, you could do something at your school, right? 学校で. So that would be written like 学 is 学ぶ, so 学校でこう学校で at school. What do you do at school? Well, maybe you study, so 勉強する. I'm not gonna write the kanji for 勉強 actually. What's that? 冶金の工場で鉄と銅を物装に oh, I've seen that before. It means like to form, like to make a is it engrain? No, I'm not quite sure. What's this one? It's some action. Is that iru? Iru, to cast. Okay, cool. Casting. Iru. Is that that's lead, right, or something? Oh, metallurgy. Oh, metallurgy. I don't know how to read metallurgy. とかいう法音読みは中物中物中物鋳物 maybe 鋳物 metallurgy okay, metallurgy, there you go. 鋳物 hi, okay, so it's 鋳物 means something that's being cast. So, for this one here, we have 学校で勉強する. It's pretty simple. 勉強 is an action. It's something you do. It's an activity. So you say 学校で学校で勉強する. 勉強学校で勉強する. To study at school. Sends with the particles no, to, ni, and de. True, yeah. So you have 夜勤の工場で. Yeah, at a 工場, a factory of yakin, which is at a metal factory, basically. That's pretty metal. 鉄と銅 using, or like 鉄と銅 is steel and copper を物騒にいる. Like pouring it into a statue of Buddha, basically. Why not use the kanji for study? Well, because I can't remember them off the top of my head. I'm pretty bad at remembering kanji when I need to write them. I can read most of them, but then when it comes to writing them, there. So it would be Ben has. There, wait. Just here. Just for you. I'll write them down. Right. 力。そして、語。今日の。Like that. And then you have. There. 勉強. You're welcome. 勉強 or 勉強. These are the same. Diligence, hard work. Very nice. Thank you, thank you. All right, so when you have a an action like 勉強する, which is to study, you can use で. So we can have other things like, you know, 外で歌を歌う. Sing a song outside. When it's an action, like an active thing you do, an activity, basically use で for the location where you do it, where it happens. Okay? It's not Ben. It is for me. I do not see any notable difference there, to be honest with you. Maybe it's also my font, but it looks absolutely the same. Susumu. Interesting. Ah! How is this different though? They look the same. Weird. 10-stroke Joyo. Interesting. I'm trying to see where the actual stroke, the extra stroke would actually be. Let me see. 歌を歌う. Yeah, favorite thing to say. 10-stroke. 1, 2, 3, 10. Is the other one where you just take the line and you... It doesn't... It lists as the same. That's so weird. It's like the same. Is it this? Like, is the difference this? Like that? Instead of this? Is that the difference? I think. That's the only one I can think of. No, I copied what you... with the other line. I copied what you wrote in chat. It's what you wrote in chat, but I think my font just displays them as the same, to be honest. They're the same Unicode character. Apparently, yeah. They're being displayed as the same character. Interesting. So that's de for location of action. And that's basically it. Like, those are 4. You've learned like 4 more particles. Oh, and then lastly, what I wanted to talk about is mo. So let's talk a little bit about mo. What is the imperative recommendation? Well, okay, we have to get our terms right, okay? So I could say that like susume is recommend something, but you have to think about what you're saying. What is the imperative of recommendation? There is no imperative of the word recommendation because recommendation is a noun, okay? Recommendation in English is a noun, which means suisen, for example, yeah, like recommendation. They are though. So suisen, recommendation. This is a noun. Usually nouns don't have imperative forms. You could have like suisen suru, which means to recommend, and then suisen shiro, which is recommend. That would be an imperative. Both are... they should not be the same Unicode. Interesting. Thank you for the follow, Runaway Madness. Or Runway Madness. Follow, ありがとうございます. So, right. Now, 進める, okay? 進める is to recommend, and that does have an imperative. 進める. 進める, to recommend. So you could have like 進めろ, 進めろ, like recommend. Right? 進めろ, it's because it's an ichidan verb. 押せ. Well, I think the dictionary will have issues with conjugated forms sometimes. At least the since the Jisho API doesn't provide conjugations. It only provides like base dictionary entries. So it's probably having problems with this. Since it has no word that reads ose like that. It has one that reads os, right? But not ose, right? That's probably why. Alright, let's actually talk about one last one here. We're gonna talk about mo. Mo is a good one. I almost forgot, but I promised to talk about mo. Mo, I usually call the inclusion particle. Inclusion particle. Okay, inclusion. Because mo includes stuff. When you have a group of things, almost, yeah. When you have a group of things, you can use mo to include it into that group. Basically, that's how it works. So it's inclusion or it emphasizes quantities. Quantities. Do you write it titties or tati? It's a quanta, right? So it would, oh, Jesus, I hate English so much. You don't even know. Quantities. It's with an I. Okay. The Jisho website has a deconjugator. Yes, it does, Gendry, but not the API. The API and the website are different, sadly. If you wanted to make one, you could, but you'd have to like write your own API for it. Emphasizes quantities. Titties. Quantity. I have it right now. Yeah, okay. So these are the two things. And this one especially often gets forgotten. The second one is very common usage, but it often gets overlooked. Let me show you. How difficult English grammar is. Well, grammar is one thing, spelling is another. Mo. So, for example, if you want to include yourself, you can just say watashi mo. Watashi mo. Me too. Me also. What is it, Ibu? Ibu. Yes. Watashi mo. Me too. Not tatties, but titties. Yes. Watashi mo is for inclusion. You're like, there is already some like pre-established thing. You include yourself into that thing, into that group, right? You're like, oh, like say someone says like, 私はね、猫がすごく好きですよ。私は猫が好きですよ。I like cats. You can then answer like, あ、私も好き。I like them too. You're including yourself into that group, right? You're including yourself into that group of people that like cats. Another thing is that mo, okay? Mo can replace or replaces, okay? Mo replaces wa or o, okay? Mo will replace the topic marker or the direct object marker. You can have it in both places, okay? Mo can replace both wa and o. Sometimes you'll have like o mo, but yeah, it's not as common. So it can replace both of these. For example, we can say ホットドッグも食べますよ. I also eat hot dogs. Like hot dogs are also included in the group of things that I eat. Something like that. I have a few examples of having double particles like dewa, niwa, towa, ni mo. So towa is different because it's a quotation. But this is another thing that we should get into at some point. Most of the time it's just particles combining their usage together. So let's look at some examples with emphasizing quantities. Emphasizing quantities is often when you say like as much as so many. Like for example, 100人, which means 100 people. 100人もいました. 100人もいました. We can even have an exclamation mark. 100人もいました. There were as many as 100 people there. There were a whole 100 people there. 100人もいました. That's for emphasis of quantity. It's emphasizing how many it was. So it's advanced. Susume. Yeah, so susumu is, by the way, I should mention this, but susumu with this kanji is obviously is different than susumu with recommendation, the other kanji. This one means advance, move forward. ひらがなも読めません。ひらがなも読めません。I can't even read hiragana or I can't read hiragana. Yeah. And then what people often forget is that 0 is also a quantity, okay? So you can emphasize the lack of something also with mo, because it can emphasize that there is none at all, right? So, for example, 誰一つもいない or 誰一人いない like 誰一人いない、人は I forget 誰って what's the stupid right hand radical? Right, it's used 言葉 one. 誰 which means who or no one. 誰一つ and 一つ here would be one person. 誰一つもいない oops. 誰一つもいない 人は誰一つもいない There isn't a single soul around. There isn't even a single person here. So sometimes more here also used to emphasize the lack of a quantity, that there is none. Like emphasizing the fact that it's 0. ナオコホストありがとうございます Thank you for the host. I had like other hosts too as well. Thank you guys. So more for emphasizing quantity or more for including things, right? That's basically that. So when you see mo from now on, think about what could it be? Could it be that it's including it into something, being in usage like also, right? Also. Or is it more emphasizing a quantity? Is it saying, oh, there's so many, or there's so little, or there's none at all? Is it saying that? For example, いいアイディアは一つもいないよ. I don't have a single good idea. 何もない. Yeah, so 何もない basically also is a little bit like 何もない. Like the more there. Also helping us to talk about the quantity basically. What would be another one for none? Yeah, often like you would use like question plus more plus nai. It was like none at all. 何もいない. 何もない. いいアイディアは一つもない. I don't have a single good idea. いいアイディアは一つもいない. Or 一つもない. Sorry, not いない. Don't have a single good idea. Something like that, right? Okay. なんでもない。なんでもないや。Alright, that's it. That's what I wanted to get done today. And I think we got done pretty well. It took about 1 hour. But I think we're good. Does anyone have any questions about the things we discussed today? Remember, we discussed about using to and no together with nouns. So like noun to noun, noun no noun, 車の会社、会社の車 or Bob と Jim さん right? Bob and Jim. Bob さんと Jim さん Is demo the particles de and mo? I don't know what it is originally, but I wouldn't say in modern usage you can say that they're the same. 日本語の勉強ってこんな風にするんですね。まあ一応ここはこんな風にします。多分こう日本語のなんていうかその教室にいれば少しだけは変わると思います。What does いない mean? いない means いる but negative means is not. Like there is not something. いない. Like an animate object. My bad. The negative conjugate ある mean so like ある would be ない right? Not いない. Alright. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording here. And I will see everyone in the next episode of Japanese 101. Don't worry, the stream will continue, of course. Just the recording, are we gonna set on thing? So the mo in nanimonai works in the way of emphasizing quantity. Yeah, kind of. Also, nanimo helps us to make any kind of conjugation of this word. So that's the thing with question words, right? When you have a question word, nani means what, but adding mo makes it like a general thing where it's like nani is what, but if we say nani mo, it can mean like any, and then nai means not. So if it's not any, it's nothing. It's a bit of a weird thing to think about. It becomes really natural after a while. It's also, it breaks down in translation a little, but yeah. But basically you could say that it's used there to emphasize the quantity a little bit. All right, well, there we go.